Caitlin Clark just played Angel Reese in the WNBA again, and this one was the best game yet. All the top players from both teams stepped up. It was another close one that went down to the wire, and as always, in every game involving these two players, there was controversy. Both Clark and Reese are neck and neck in the Rookie of the Year race, so whoever won this game was going to get a big boost. First play of the game, Angel attacks Nalissa Smith and just throws it over to Camila Cardoso, and you can see just how formidable this front court is. Cardoso is just too tall. It doesn't matter how many times she misses, she'll eventually put it in the goal. She does, and puts the first points on the board. Indiana get their first offensive possession, and who else but Caitlin Clark drives right with intent, and instead of attacking the paint, settles and banks it in off the window. And after a few bad games and some rough shooting nights, her making her first shot was a good sign. Unless you're a Chicago fan. Angel Reese's last few games have been a bit different. She's had 5 double-doubles in a row and improving her all-around game. Do you know what makes these Fever Sky matchups so good? Is it's not just about Clark and Reese. You've got Camila Cardoso, and she's got history with Aaliyah Boston, her former teammate at South Carolina. Last game, Aaliyah Boston won it for the Fever with a huge and one down the stretch. And this game, the two players went at it again. Look at them battling down low here. Boston gets possession, receives the entry pass and finishes, despite the late contest from Cardoso. The next play we see something we haven't seen much of this season, a Clark-Boston pick and roll. The Sky blitz Clark on the wing, but she's got the ability to find the roller, and Boston blows by the smaller defender and scores again. She's coming off of a career high and playing really well after a slow start to the season. Clark again finding the hot hand in Boston in the corner. She waits for Cardoso to close out, gets around and in front of her, but her former teammate recovers and gets a piece of it from behind. And that serves as a reminder that it's never going to be easy to score with Cardoso lurking in the paint. But check this out. The very next possession, Maybury misses the free, Cardoso gets the rebound, and this time it's Boston pins it off the backboard. Chicago start again, throw it back into Reese. She misses the layup but gets her own rebound and scores, showing why, even as a rookie, she's one of the best offensive rebounders in the W. Enough is enough. Boston sets a solid screen on Maybury to free up Clark from outside, and you already know what happens next.
Clark gets freed up from up top.
Caitlin Clark plays her best when playing fast. Look how quickly she attacks the open space before the Sky have a chance to set up their defense, and she scores again. That's 7 quick points for Clark in the opening few minutes. Timeout Chicago, what a start for 22. Look at Nalissa Smith backing down Angel in the low post and scoring a hook shot in the lane. Kennedy Carter, she stops on the drive, goes behind the back and hits a jumper from the elbow to end a 7-0 run for the Fever. Role players were huge in this game for both teams. Evans and Samuelson traded threes on the next 2 possessions, and then right here, Reese is able to get in front and hold off Samuelson, receives an entry pass and does well to get a shot up and in over the help defense. The first quarter started off all about Clark, but then it became all about Kennedy Carter. Look at her turn on the Jets, hit Mitchell with a quick cross and float it up into the hoop off balance with the right hand to give Chicago the lead. The first back and forth came moments later. Clark got tangled up with Evans on a drive, and there was some chirping back and forth between the two players. Nothing too serious, but enough to highlight the intensity and competitive nature in this game. On this play, she penetrates, and before the Fever's defense even has time to react, she's already scored. If you've ever wondered what gravity looks like on a basketball court, it's right here. Watch how the Fever are moving the ball around, and as soon as Clark curls coming around left, the defense helps, leaving Lexi wide open, and she hits her first free ball of the game. The first quarter ends in the Sky lead by 3. Indiana were by far the more efficient team playing the better basketball, but Chicago were killing them on the glass. Cardoso and Reese combined for 11 rebounds, which is why the Sky had 11 more shot attempts than the Fever in the first. These WNBA games are the talk of the summer, and I'm definitely going to go to a game. And when I do, I'll be using SeatGeek, the sponsor of today's video, which is the best app to find tickets for live sporting events. With over 28 million downloads, SeatGeek is the #1 #1 rated ticketing app. There are more than 70,000 events on SeatGeek, including concerts, sports, festivals, and more. I recently used SeatGeek to get tickets to see Team USA play in the Olympics this summer. And it's not just basketball. With the NBA season finishing, there's still a whole lot of sports to watch. And with SeatGeek, you can get tickets to watch baseball, NFL, Copa America, and even artists like Luke Combs, Bad Bunny, and Nicki Minaj who are on tour. What separates SeatGeek from other apps is they put all the tickets across the web in one place to make sure you're getting the best deal. And each ticket is rated on a scale of 1 to 10. So what you want to do is look for the green dots. It's pretty simple, green means good, red means bad. And you don't need to worry about getting scammed because every ticket is backed by their buyer guarantee, and SeatGeek is the only site that lets you return your tickets ahead of the event with swaps. SeatGeek really is the best app to buy tickets online. And you know I came through for you guys. Use my code DKMSports for $20 off tickets at SeatGeek. That's $20 off your first purchase with promo code DKMSports. Make sure you click the link in the description to download the app. And once again, thank you to SeatGeek for sponsoring this video. Go get your tickets now. Somebody we've not talked about enough though is Marina Mabury. There's 1 second left on the shot clock. Cardoso sets a monster off-ball screen to free her up. She puts it up, beats the shot clock and hits a jumper from the mid-range to start off the second quarter. That's 8 early points for Mabury. Another standout player from this game was Kelsey Mitchell. It's her turn to show off her scoring ability and she hits a long 2 off the dribble. Next up, Camila Cardoso. Mabury rewards the big for running the floor and that's just too easy for the 2-time national champion. And on the next play she showed why she's such a dominant force. Nobody on the Fever can deal with her size. She had no business getting this offensive rebound right here and she puts it back and makes it 11 second chance points for the Sky. The Fever are going to have to do something about the physicality Chicago are playing with. They need someone to step up and fight back. And Nalissa Smith, right on cue, did just that. On this play she fakes the dribble handoff, turns the corner and gets the better of Reese down under the hoop. Very next possession, Clark misses a free and Smith comes flying out of nowhere, steals the offensive rebound, is challenged by Cardoso, goes up strong, observes contact and finishes, count the basket and the foul, tied game. Swing of momentum for Indiana, pushing the pace in transition. Kelsey Mitchell has options. Instead, she pulls up and hits a transition free and all of a sudden, Indiana are flying again. Chicago need a basket. Mabury settles for a baseline jumper, misses, but guess who's there on the glass? Fighting, finishing through contact and a foul, it's Angel Reese. Absolutely relentless. Speaking of 3-point plays, here's another one. Kelsey Mitchell ISO with Carter, hits her with the quick cross, beats her to the spot, goes up and finishes, another and one, and 3-point play converted. You're going to see a lot of that this game. Aaliyah Boston may be slow to get up and down the court, but that has its perks. Angel Reese falls asleep here, walking back on defense, and allows Aaliyah Boston to just go straight down the middle, receive the pass and score the easiest point she'll score all night. Clark and Boston showed some chemistry in this game we haven't seen all year. Watch right here how Clark sees her on the pick and roll, finds the pass, Cardoso too slow to react and there she is again. Aaliyah Boston, 8 first half points for her. Do you know who hasn't scored in a while? Caitlin Clark. After scoring 7 points in the opening minute, she didn't score a single field goal in the second quarter until the final minute. She brings the ball up the floor and poor communication from the Sky's defense just lets her walk into the paint into a crowd of bodies. She capitalizes and reverses it off the glass. Final possession of the half and it's a big one for the Fever. Caitlin Clark pushing the pace, penetrates, draws the defense in, Samuelson's open, she's already made 2, make that 3 3-pointers and the Indiana Fever go into halftime leading Chicago by 4 points. Great half of basketball with the Fever playing some of their best hoops all season. Role players are stepping up, hitting shots, Caitlin's controlling the game, and the Fever as a team are shooting 6 of 12 from 3 and 57% from the field. With the way they're playing, they should be blowing out the Sky, who were shooting just 40%, but the whole half they were getting killed on the glass. To summarise, Cardoso and Reese had 18 rebounds. That was more than the entire Fever, who had 17. Angel Reese led the Sky in scoring with 9 points, and she was really living up to the occasion. She wanted to win bad. The second half resumes and it's them again, Aaliyah Boston versus Cardoso in the post. They know each other's every move so well. Watch Boston fake her on the hook shot over the left shoulder, gets Cardoso to bite and then finishes with her left. But Cardoso doesn't back down. Down the floor, she's posting up Boston and instead of going 1v1, finds her cutting Maybury with a backdoor cut. Great pass from the Brazilian. Maybury started the half off strong and shortly after hit a free from the top of the key. She led all scorers in the game at this point with 13 points. We just talked about Cardoso's backdoor cut. Aaliyah Boston gave her a taste of her own medicine and hit her with the same move, as this time Mitchell cuts backdoor across the baseline and scores. The matchup between Kelsey and Carter was one of the highlights of the first half, and Kennedy Carter, picking up where she left off, attacks the paint in the pick and roll and scores a tough shot in the lane off balance over Clark. And then again, she's playing hard on both ends, fighting for possession with Clark. The ball breaks loose, she's the furthest ahead and scores her second basket in quick succession. The Sky are on a roll now. Dribble handoff with Maybury, she pulls the trigger from deep and it's good. 12-2 Chicago run to start the third. The Fever need a timeout and Coach Strides needs to change something because Chicago are running away with it now. And look who it was who stepped up when the Fever needed a bucket. Nalissa Smith, no messing about, goes right at Carter, spins, rises up and floats it in. All net. That set the tone for Indiana coming out of the timeout. Look at the energy, players getting forward in transition. Clark, Wallace, Mitchell score, tied game. Until Kennedy Carter once again off the bounce just races to the hoop and scores. She's making a name for herself in this game, not for her antics or comments in the media, making a name for herself for her basketball. She's got 14 points and we're only halfway through the third. And then finally, for the first time in forever, Caitlin Clark in transition goes behind the back to create all the separation she needs, lets it fly, and you already know. The Fever have all the momentum now. Evans drives into traffic, but somebody gets a piece of it.
Allen gets blocked. Fever looking for numbers. Clark to Wallace. Back to Clark. Shovel pass busted.
Unbelievable unselfish ball movement from Indiana, not settling and waiting for the perfect shot. Clark was entitled to shoot there, but she knew exactly where Boston was and shoveled it her way, looking like prime Magic Johnson. Beautiful basketball from Indiana. They're on a 9-2 run and now the pressure is on Chicago to make plays. Maybury, as she's done all night, ends the drought for her team, but Caitlin Clark answers right back, no time wasted, maintaining the fast pace, attacks with intent, finds an opening, exploits it, gets inside and scores off the glass. Somebody we've not talked about is Dana Evans. Watch how she goes coast to coast with a full head of steam, is fouled and scores an and one. And here was the most controversial play of the night. Caitlin Clark, ball in her hands, drives by Angel Reese. Harrison gets a piece of it, but Reese gets a big piece of Clark's head. Completely mistimes the block and smacks Clark across the head. Reese was called for a flagrant, and given the history of these two players, everybody's going to assume it's deliberate. Personally, I don't think it was. I don't think Reese intentionally wiped out Clark or tried to hurt her. What I do think is she wanted to make a highlight play to send Clark's shot into the stands and make a statement, all in competitive nature, and she's completely mistimed it and ended up hurting Caitlin. Regardless of whether or not she meant it, she still smacked her in the head, making it a clear flagrant foul. Credit to the refs, they made the right call in the end, but it does have to be said, her being subjected to these hard fouls happens too often for it to be a coincidence. But what do you guys think? Did Angel Reese do it on purpose? Was it accidental? Let me know down below in the comments. Anyway, let's continue, because this game's far from over. Fever lead 68-66, it's a 2-point game and anyone's for the taking. The fourth starts off slow, with only one made basket in the opening 90 seconds. And there's the two-woman game for Indiana. Clark feeds Boston with a bounce pass right on the money, and she scores. The Sky had gone cold, until Kennedy Carter stepped up and made a big much needed play. Another and one and another difficult shot. That's the story of the night. Indiana are playing great defense here. Clark and Boston both deflect passes, and then at the very end of the shot clock, Maybury, with nowhere to go, just throws up a prayer over the taller Boston and sinks it. Guess what happens next? Another and one. Nalissa Smith does Maybury one better. Double clutch floater through contact, all net and the foul. Fever up 6. Maybury on the left wing tries to shoot a free and is blocked by guess who? Caitlin Clark. Playing defense, she recovers possession, runs the pick and roll with Boston, splits the defense with a beautiful bounce pass, and Boston does the rest. 4 minutes 48 to go and Evans gives them a lifeline with a 3-pointer to cut the Fever's lead to 3. She's got 12 points on 3 of 4 shooting. Answering back is the Indiana Fever's unsung hero, Kelsey Mitchell, going to war with Kennedy, turns the corner, beats a helping Cardoso to the spot, and with 3 defenders around her, squeezes through and gets it to spin in off the glass while falling. What a play from Kelsey Mitchell. Carter gets to the line for the Sky, splits the free throws, it's a 4-point game. And with 3 minutes to go, the play of the night, Aaliyah Boston and Caitlin Clark dribble handoff screen, number 22 going left, fires from 3 and it's good. The arena explodes, Caitlin Clark from 3 puts the Fever up 7, giving her team the biggest lead of the night. That should be the dagger. But it wasn't, because the Sky were able to get to the line and hang in there. 5-point game with just over 2 minutes to go. Reese finds Cardoso, who throws it up there hoping for the best and scores. The Sky get a stop. It's a 3-point game and they can tie it here. 90 seconds remain. The Fever take their time. Carter putting the clamps on Clark. End of the shot clock, throws it into Boston, one-on-one with Camilla, and just like last game, she makes the most important play of the game, beats the shot clock and scores off the glass to put Indiana up 5. Chicago in a hurry, who amazingly, while ice cold and sandwiched between 2 players, wraps it up and in and around Boston, while off balance to score. 3-point game. If Chicago get a stop here, they can win it in dramatic fashion. Clark drains some clock. 30 seconds remain. A basket here should do it, and nobody picks up Nalissa Smith, who's wide open under the basket. Clark finds her and she scores. Absolutely terrible defense from Angel Reese here. She tried to cherry pick and get an easy basket when she should have been getting the rebound for her team. She steps back into the play defensively, doesn't communicate with Kennedy Carter. They both blindly pick up the same player, ball watching, unaware of their surroundings, and that's why Smith was left unattended to score. And that right there was the moment the Fever won the game. Indiana end up closing it out with free throws and finish the job 91-83. Caitlin Clark goes 2-0 against Angel Reese in the WNBA. She's won the last 3 games in a row against her since the national championship game. What a performance from Caitlin. Near triple-double, 21 points, 9 assists, 8 rebounds. Her partner in crime, Aaliyah Boston, was amazing too. 19 points and 14 rebounds, 5 blocks. She's getting better every game. Kelsey Mitchell and Nalissa Smith both scored in double figures. As for Chicago, a lot of their players stepped up too. Maybury led all scorers with 22. Carter had 18, Dana Evans had 12 off the bench. Both Cardoso and Angel had double doubles, 10 and 10 for Cardoso, 11, 13 and 5 for Reese. They did everything they could, but ultimately it wasn't enough. The Fever take a 2-0 lead in the series, and with that win, overtake the Sky in the WNBA standings. Fantastic game of basketball that once again lived up to all the hype and delivered. I don't care what anyone says, this is the best rivalry in American professional basketball right now. And if you're still here at this point in the video, you must have enjoyed. And I bet you'll enjoy this video right here. So click here to watch on the screen, go watch that video, subscribe to the channel if you want to see more WNBA content. And on that note, it's DKM signing out until next time, and peace.